India, a huge subcontinent 6 times as big as France, with almost 1 billion inhabitants. And every year there are 18 millions more. In a mainly rural country, this evolution leads to even greater parcelling out of the already tight patchwork of land, forcing the exodus of the population to the urban areas. India and Nepal are host to half the tiger population of the planet, which makes about 3,000 of this rare species. The tiger's survival is totally dependent upon the continued availability of these last wild habitats, and on the fight against the intensive poaching to which these great cats are subjected. You reach the tiger reserves of central India by train. It's a densely forested area and so far little developed. The cheerful crowds at the railway stations and the down-to-earth reality of the countryside throughout the whole journey quickly bring home to you the very essence of rural India. A former Maharaja estate and hunting reserve, the Bandhavgarh Park was declared a national park in 1968, just after India's accession to independence. In 1972, when tigers had become almost extinct, Indira Gandhi launched the Tiger Project and passed a new law protecting wild animals in India. 9 new tiger reserves were created, and the size of Bandhavgarh was quadrupled. Katapan, the chief elephant driver, has been tracking the Bandhavgarh tigers for more than 30 years. He and his fellow elephant drivers start work at 4 in the morning by going out to find the elephants in the jungle around the campsite. An hour before dawn, when the tourists flood into the park, they saddle up the elephants and go off to look for the tigers, which are so often well hidden in the sal forest, the bamboo thickets and the tall grass of the savannah. Once spotted, a radio message is sent to HQ. For the tourists, the time has come to observe these fascinating cats. There are more tigers in Bandhavgarh than anywhere else in the world. Leopards and jungle cats also prowl around. The wide variety of habitats in the park, forest, savanna, rocky hills, cliffs and ponds, make it an ideal sanctuary for most types of animals to be found in India. They are all interdependent. Large herds of spotted deer live in the park and constitute the principal prey of tigers. As herbivores, they like to eat in the morning under the trees, which are full of langur monkeys whose movements release clouds of leaves that gently float down to them. The Samba deer are the largest in Asia. Living on their territories, the females group together in small herds, while the males live alone except during the rutting season. It's not unusual to find specimens weighing 300 kilos. Their hearing and sense of smell are especially well developed, and their ability to move without making any noise doesn't make the task of tigers looking for a meal any easier. Alarm calls from spotted deer and sambas, barks from langur monkeys, mean that the great cats lose 70% of their prey. But these warnings by the animals, together with the pug marks left by the tigers, are ideal for telling us where these lords of the wild are on the prowl. Other carnivorous animals are also well established in the park. With a bit of luck, you'll see a jackal, a fox, a wolf, and even a horde of dholes, Asiatic wild dogs, playing around in the tall grass.
हमारे खिलाड़ी भेज दे वो
The jungle is quiet. A tiger is on the move. It was out hunting last night, and having eaten its fill, it isn't dangerous for its prey, for the moment. They know this, but they keep a good lookout nonetheless. Langur monkeys, which are normally timid but can become very aggressive when face to face with a tiger, live in colonies of about 30 individuals on clearly defined territories. They live mainly off leaves, many of which are toxic for most other species. You'll often see them sitting on the rough tracks in the forest, eating the earth which is rich in mineral salts. Ditto is out on patrol, regularly leaving his mark as he goes. There are several ponds along his path. It's a large area shared between a few tigresses, water, and its prey. That's all he needs to survive, provided, of course, he stays the undisputed lord of the park. The park is home to more than 250 different species of birds. The pond's edge is an excellent observation point for ornithologists. All the animals of the jungle passed by. It's here where you can be privy to some of the most intimate wildlife scenes. Rhesus macaques are the next group of primates in the park. They live in well-organized colonies under the watchful eye of a dominant male. Secondary groups develop within this structure with its strict social order. Given their large number, only human beings represent a danger, as they use them for medical research. A tigress normally has a litter of 3 to 4 cubs. Half of them survive to become adults. Once they have been weaned between 2 and 4 months, they start learning to hunt by playing, following the example of their mother. They will begin by helping her to bring back the prey, and then attack small game like wild boar or porcupines with their most indigestible spines, which they will purge with a few bamboo shoots. They have to wait until they're about 3 years old before being able to hunt deer, a delicate but dangerous business. An adult tiger can attack prey larger than itself, and it can eat up to 30 kilos of meat at a time. It only needs to go hunting once or twice a week to stay on form. At lunchtime, the park is empty of visitors, and the elephants are unsaddled for a well-earned rest. They are given large cereal cakes to eat, and will be taken for a bath in the river by their elephant drivers. Before independence came to India in 1948, Bandhavgarh was under the protection of the Maharajas of Rewa. This region of jungle forest nonetheless paid a heavy price for this protection, because it was declared a royal hunting reserve. The tiger was the main trophy. The Maharaja had to kill 109 of them to become a knight. These private reserves did, however, allow many tiger sanctuaries to be created across India. It saved the last survivors of the species and simultaneously preserved the rich biological diversity of the country. For several centuries, Bandhavgarh was the residence of the Maharajas. You can still visit their headquarters, a castle, royal houses in ruins, a huge water tank, temples, standing on a hill with steep cliffs overlooking the plain and the forest of the park, and protected by large ramparts. The temple still exists as such, and twice a year opens to tens of thousands of pilgrims who come to venerate their Hindu gods Rama and Krishna. A hermit priest honours these deities each day and accompanies the prayers of the faithful as they pass through.
I can give the one coconut. Save the tigers, save the animals, save the jungle, save the everything. So every time helping God.
After a night of hunting and having played around in the morning dew, the tigers are having a rest. While some are dozing away, others play with their favourite toy, like this old mongoose. And sometimes, when the tourists have the cheek to enter their territory, they amuse themselves by trying to catch the tails of the elephants.
Il veut s'amuser avec la queue.
Il veut surpiller.
Regarde, voir.
Mais oui, mais il sait, il sait.
I think it's a duty for us, Swiss people, European people, American, everybody in the world, it's a duty to save one of the most beautiful species in the world. So what can we do when you come from Switzerland and there is no tiger? You just go back to India and you try to help people support conservation projects. So that's what I've done. I came to India and fortunately I went to visit Kanha first and then Bandhavgarh, and I met Raj. Fortunately actually, because I found in him a completely passionate man. I noticed right away he absolutely wanted to work for conservation. So thank you Raj, because really he gives us incentive and hope that maybe we will manage to save a tiger in the world. You know that you have half of the population of tigers in this world. It's very important for Indian people, Nepali people to really desperately try to save them.
What are the most serious threats facing your Bandhavgarh Park, which has the highest density of tigers and represents one of the last sanctuaries where this great cat can still be admired in its natural habitat?
There are a lot of threats for the Bandhavgarh National Park. One is the biggest threat is the poaching, and the poaching is just caused sometime when there is a conflict between the villagers and the tiger. The major cause of the conflict between the villagers and the tiger is that when the tiger kills the cattle, and when they lose the cattle, they feel something very bad for the tiger and for the park. Sometimes the tiger kills the cattle outside the park, and sometimes the tiger kills the cattle inside the park.
Approximately 200-300 cows killed by the tigers around this area.
As manager and coordinator of this compensation fund, what do you actually do when a farmer loses livestock to the predators?
Actually, there is a producer, there is a forest department. He is giving some compensation, but not fully. I mean, if the villagers buy in 5,000, so they can give only 2 and 2.5. So they can't buy again cow. So we are just a new organization and we are giving something so they can buy again.
The program has just begun. 20 farmers have received compensation. Others will hear about this. They will understand how we are trying to help them, and in turn will help us in our conservation efforts.
Is there anything else besides the compensation fund we could do as our Terre Faune Trust India,
To the forest department, especially the daily wagers which do not have proper equipment, and which in that field which the government is not providing adequate funds for the forest department for equipment, bicycles, jeeps for patrolling, motorcycles for patrolling, and some kind of warm clothes like that, so they can increase their efficiency while doing their work.
I hope it's going to be a long-term project. Anyway, you have the passion, you have the abilities and all the political power, so I hope it's going to be successful. Anyway, let's pray Durga will help us in our work. I think she's done it already. Okay, thank you very much, Raj, and see you next time.
Yeah.
Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night. What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thy eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire?
Thank you.